checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's get this show on the road. Emergency Management Associates, guys, we're here for you every day, Monday through Friday, sometime between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, every day during the week. Let's get this show on the road, guys. This is Ron Tyler. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We're here for you every day. Thank you for being here, guys. We appreciate all of you joining us today. Now, guys, we have a lot of things to talk about again today. Okay? I'm not going to blow smoke up your britches. I'm not going to do that. But there are a lot of things going on. I want to first go out to Jamaica. Okay? Jamaica has its share of problems right now. Let's tune in to a press conference over in Jamaica that was held this afternoon. Let's watch this.
Some more avenues for telecommunication between family members. And I tell you, I remember Hurricane Ivan. My mother was in Cayman. My grandfather was in Cayman. I didn't hear from them for days. I was a wreck. So I know there are so many people in Jamaica all over the world that I know your heart is breaking because you've not heard from your families. And so please know that the government is doing everything we can to get to them. And that's why our soldiers, and they were working with regular civilians, just came out and said, we want to help. And they're going by foot, trying to clear the roadways. And so we are going to get to them. We're going to get to every community. It may take a little time, but we're going to do it as quickly as we can and get aid and food to all those who need it. All right, I'm going to give you a quick update on education, I mean, a lot of people have asked about schools in the areas that were not all. That's not the case in other parts. So where we know that schools can resume, we will be doing so on Monday, but a lot of our schools do not have electricity and they do not have water, even in places that weren't as badly affected. And so we're doing the assessments and we are looking at an emergency plan. I've asked Senator Marlon Morgan to work primarily on this emergency plan because we're going to have a plan for children in Westmoreland, in Hanover, in St. Elizabeth, and in St. James. And so we are working through that and at the appropriate time. Right now, it's about getting food to individuals. It's about getting those who may be injured assistance. It is not the time really for those concerns, but we are starting to think about it and we will give you updates at the appropriate time. I know we have some other ministers who should be reporting. They are out in the field. They're on their way here. We have Minister Samuda, who is going to come and speak about the water situation and also some updates on some discussions with the private sector around mobilizing food that is already in Jamaica, and he's on his way here. We also have coming to join us, we should be having Minister Morgan, who will give you a further update on roads. And we have, oh, you're here. Okay, so you can go next. I didn't see you walk in the room, so. Okay. All right, so we are going to go into the update on roads. And then we have Minister Samuja just walked in from his meeting with the private sector. Thank you for being here, ministers. So we're going to go in that order. Minister Morgan, you will come now. And then we'll have Minister Samuda give his update. And then after that, we are going to have Minister Wheatley, who will be talking through some concerns we're having online with a lot of scamming happening. And so we do have to address it here this morning. And then we'll close with Minister Mackenzie's update from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management. But before that one, we also have been getting a lot of questions about the cat bond. This administration did quite a great job, Minister Williams, in trying to build in some resilience into our economy. And we are going to have to get an update from you. I don't know if you want to come now. Would you like to come now on the cat bond? Yes, I know. The Cayman team is going to have to leave. And so you may see some activity. They do have to get back to the airport to leave. All right. So I'm going to have Minister Morgan and then we can continue with the rest of the press conference. Minister Morgan.
Okay. The delegation has to leave. So could I just say hello, good morning, everyone, colleague ministers. All right. No, I'm not Minister Morgan. But let me say good morning to colleague ministers, permanent secretaries, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, and to say how very delighted I am this morning to be here with the Premier from the Cayman Islands, the Honorable Andre Banks, and his delegation. I met them at the airport this morning. I welcome them, having heard and seen the footage about Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. They jumped on a plane and are here this morning. So I'm going to give a minute to the Premier just to introduce your team or just to hand over. Okay.
Good morning, Jamaica, and good morning to our folks in Cayman. I know that your country needs vital ministerial updates, so I'm going to make this very brief. From our standpoint, the Cayman Islands has a deep heritage and history with Jamaica. As Mr. Vaz had mentioned, and as you also have mentioned, we have had our own experience with Hurricane Ivan, and Jamaica was there for Cayman. So we pushed aside our usual state business and got on the first flight that we could to pledge our support. We have brought over an initial round of about $200,000 of key essential supplies. We also have pledged, and I've written a letter signed by myself, to your Prime Minister of about US 1.2 million of goods that we will have, essential supplies and resources that we will have shipped directly to Jamaica. So just know, on behalf of myself and the government, ministers who are here, Minister J.E. Banks, Minister Nick DaCosta, and the leader of the opposition, Cayman stands with Jamaica. Thank you.
Okay, Cayman Islands is standing with Jamaica. The United States government is also standing with Jamaica. And I'm going to tell you this right now. We have the emergency management people in Miami, in Orlando, and Jacksonville, Florida, that have shipped pallets upon pallets, millions of dollars of goods to Jamaica to get over there to help those people. They've also got people on the ground from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They've got people on the ground from the Catholic Diocese, and we've also got people on the ground from all over the United States from the Office of Emergency Management and also FEMA. Yes, we have some representatives from FEMA over there in Jamaica tonight. They're helping these people recover their country. As they said earlier, they were going to have a minister of transportation there to talk about the roadways and the roadways that were damaged by the hurricane. The runways at the airports, both on the northwestern side of the island and over in Kingston, Jamaica, the airport runways were inspected, and what runways needed repair have been repaired. That way they can get planes in and out of there, get people out of there, and get people in there to help, and also goods and services as well. So Jamaica is in terrible shape. Yes, the roadways have been damaged. Their commercial traffic has also been damaged. The towns, cities have been damaged tremendously. Some roofs of buildings have been taken off, but Cuba fared even worse. Cuba had not just the roofs taken off, but their entire village flattened in some cases. The buildings literally collapsed as the winds came in, 185 mile per hour winds, hitting the buildings, hitting homes, and completely taking them down to the ground. Cuba's in terrible shape, okay? Yet we will help Cuba also recover. We will help Cuba also recover. Now this storm has gone through the Bahamas and is now presently headed for Bermuda. Bermuda's right on the storm track, and it's going to get hit today or tonight going into Friday. We're going to get further updates about Bermuda as this hurricane goes forward, but Bermuda is in its sights right now. It's in the storm track. So we're going to keep track of Bermuda as well. Okay? Now, what else do I want to talk to you about? There's a lot of things going on, guys. There are a ton of things going on. I want to address what is going on with our food stamps. Okay? I did a survey this morning. I went to our local stores here in North Carolina. I did a survey. So far, the local stores here are not going to shut down on Saturday. There's no talk of shutting any stores down because of the lack of food stamps. They're not afraid of scores of people running in there and looting and damaging the stores or doing any damage to humans inside the stores in terms of hurting employees. Okay? Right now, there's no sign of that going to happen. That we're thankful for. But in California, that's a different story. California, that's a different story. They may have a different story also in New York, Chicago, Minneapolis, and some of the other areas where the Democrat Party have had total control. And as a result, they have angry mobs that may go to the stores and loot the stores. Okay? There was talk of Walmart, for example, shutting down starting Saturday. There was talk of Walmart shutting down Saturday and only having online shopping allowed and then curbside delivery. Okay, there was talk of that. But right now, I am told that's not going to happen. I'm told that's not going to happen. I want to make that very clear. I talked to representatives of Walmart. I talked to representatives of Safeway. I talked to representatives of Kroger. And I also talked to Food Lion here in North Carolina. Right now, there's no talk of shutting those stores down and limiting assignments of groceries. Okay. Now, while that's happening, okay, President Trump is also working on making sure people still get their food stamps. Okay. Now, if you tuned into the press conference from the Republican Party in Congress today, Speaker Johnson from the House of Representatives spoke to the people here. He held a news conference this morning. The Democrats are still voting against opening up the government. This is the 13th time this month. 13th time this month. Tomorrow will mark 30 days since the government's been shut down. 30 days since the government's been shut down. They voted now 13 times to keep the government closed down. It's the Democrat Party wanting the shutdown. The Democrat Party is blaming it on the Republicans, but it's the Democrat Party that is voting to not come to the table and negotiate in good faith and not willing to part with paying illegal aliens to stay here in the States. The Democrat Party still wants the government, the United States government, you and I, the taxpayers, to fund illegal aliens staying here in the United States. The Democrat Party wants us to pay for their health care. The Democrat Party also wants something else. What's that? They want us to pay them to stay there. Give them food stamps. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not going to happen. It's flat out not going to happen. Now, last night I played a clip for you in regards to this. 54% of the people on food stamps, 54% of the people on food stamps are illegal aliens. 54%. That's incredible. Never in this history of this country has that been that high. Never. Never happened. But today that is the case. 54% of the population of this country that gets food stamps are illegal aliens. That is coming to a screeching halt. It's not going to happen anymore. It's flat out not going to happen any longer. I guarantee it. Not going to happen. Now, given that, again, President Trump is working on a deal right now to get food stamps, SNAP benefits for people, tax-paying public here in the United States, citizens of the United States, to get SNAP benefits that need it. President Trump is trying to do that to make sure families and especially children are not left hungry. Okay? We've been working on this. I have personally not been on it, but I am working on getting you the information about what's going on. I'm not going to stop. This constitutes an emergency. This is what we do here on Emergency Management Associates. We want people to know what's going on. We want people to behave. We want people to be happy. We want people to be happy. I wouldn't put something else that is not true. I refuse to put out any information that's not true at all. Okay? Now, with that said, I want to go over to what Speaker Johnson had to say earlier this morning. Let me play this clip for you.
People, the Democrats are coming near now to a cliff that they will not be able to turn back from. And it's of great concern to everyone who's paying attention to all this. You will note that more air traffic controllers and TSA agents and park rangers are about to go without a paycheck. You've got families and children that rely upon SNAP benefits that are going to go hungry here at the end of the week. You've got more critical workers, by the way, including the people who are the stewards of our nuclear defense arsenal, who are forced to stay at home as the government remains closed. The Democrats own every one of these consequences. So we want to point out a couple of important facts this morning for you. It's no coincidence that polling this week confirms that over 70% of the American people believe the Democratic Party is out of touch. And amazingly to us, still every day, they turn their backs on more and more hardworking American families to prolong their pain. And that is exactly what's being felt here. It is incredible to us that they've now voted 14 times between the House and Senate to reject the clean, simple funding bill that would simply reopen the government. 14 times they have thumbed their nose at the American people in spite of their pain that they themselves have acknowledged. And as we've explained here, the motivation behind that is very clear. And this is why the polling is indicating what it is. The people know the Democrats are responding to fear. It is their fear of the most radical far-left voices in their party that has made them decide to obey the demands of the far left and to shut down the entire government and thereby inflict all this pain on the people. And almost comically at this point, the Democrats are still out trying to convince you that this is somehow Republicans' fault. But the facts are the facts, and the American people can see that very clearly. They see the truth. We brought you a handy scorecard here so you can, follow the votes. I mean, this is very simple. The votes to pay the troops and federal workers and continue SNAP benefits and get air traffic controllers and Border Patrol agents paid. This is the vote tally. You see the dates here. The House did our work back on September 19th, and we voted, Republicans voted yes. Democrats voted no on all those things. And the Senate has now done it an additional 13 times. These are the votes. No one can say that this is in any way the fault of Republicans. We have a clean, simple bill, and everybody knows it. House and Senate Democrats are openly admitting that this is their shutdown. You have seen the highlight reel of all of them stumbling into admitting that. And yet they're also incoherently claiming that the shutdown is somehow on the fault of the other party. And the people aren't buying it. And that's why the polling continues to show that the approval of Republicans in Congress is rising with each passing day. And the Democrats, at the same time, Democrats in Congress have the lowest approval rating they have ever had since polling began, since recorded polling began on these metrics. And here's just an example yesterday. For example, CNN polling showed yesterday the approval of Republicans in Congress is up 8% since the shutdown began among independents. I mean, that's an important metric because people are paying attention. They understand what's happening and they see who is responsible. It's a really important thing to watch. Ronald Reagan used to remind us that you can always trust the American people, and we do. We trust their intelligence, and we trust their understanding of basic civics. In fact, we trust the American people's understanding of civics far more than the Democrats in this building right now. And a quick reminder of that is the people know that in the House of Representatives, you need a majority vote. You need 218 votes to pass legislation, to pass a clean, continuing resolution to fund the government. That's exactly what we did on September 19th. They also know that in the Senate, you have to have 60 votes to pass substantive legislation. And we've only got 53 Republican seats. That means we need, by the math, at least 7 Democrats to join us to reopen the government. Now, in other words, the Democrats are the only reason that the government is closed. And there is no other way to spin that, to make something else true about it. And of course, the Democrats know all that. We've seen their party leaders, and we've now made their phrases and their comments famous here every morning.
Okay. This is going to go on. The entire House of Representatives speakership spoke at this news conference this morning. 14 different times they voted on it in the House of Representatives, 13 times in the Senate. Okay, it's completely the Democrat Party that's in charge here, not reopening the government. It has nothing to do with the Republican Party. Yet the Democrats are saying if the Republican Party will kneel down and say, oh, we're sorry, we're going to let you open up the government and let the illegal aliens have food stamps, we'll open up the government. They want the Republican Party They want the American taxpayers to go ahead, kneel down and say, oh my gosh, we're sorry. We'll allow the illegal aliens here in this country to have our taxpayer dollars. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now, while I'm talking about that as well, in California, a stronghold of the Democrat Party, they are trying to impose a 30% tax on the people in California that own homes. 30% increase in property taxes in the state of California. Where's that money going? Right into the back pocket of guess who? Governor Newsom. Unreal. Totally unreal what these people want to get away with. Back earlier this year in January, there was a bill had in California's legislature that they were going to raise money for the fire victims in California. Millions of dollars raised, but not one single penny is yet to make it to the fire victims. Who took the money? Mr. Newsom. That's not the only time they've done it. Newsom has also sponsored other legislation for other matters, and nobody's gotten any money out of that either. That matter is the homeless. Governor Newsom tried to sponsor legislation, or did sponsor legislation, that would promise millions of dollars going to the homeless to get people homeless off the street. Nothing's changed. Nothing has been done for the homeless in California either. Every time the Democrats speak, every time they lift their finger, one more hole goes in the dike. One more finger goes in the dike to make sure that the dike isn't going to leak. But in this case, the dike is leaking and the dam is about to falter completely. Unreal. It's got to stop. It has to stop. American people, children, are going to go hungry. And yes, I'm afraid that people in Los Angeles, I'm afraid that people in Chicago, I'm afraid that people in New York and Minneapolis and other strongholds are also going to go, oh, guess what? If we can raid the stores in California and not be charged with crimes, then we're going to do it in New York. We're going to do it in Chicago. Guess what? That's not going to happen. If you raid a store and get in there to steal goods, you will be arrested. California's getting away with it because they are Democrats and they say, oh, I'm sorry, you can take up to $1,000 worth of goods and you won't be prosecuted. That didn't used to be the case. That did not used to be the case. I was a cop there. At one point in time, if you took $250 in property, you were charged with felony armed robbery. Then it became $500. Then it became $1,000. And now you can take $1,000 with anything and walk out and not be charged with a crime in California. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. Do we have any questions about food stamps? I will try to answer those questions that you might have. Any questions on food stamps? Like I said, I spoke to representatives of Walmart. I've talked to people from Kroger. I've talked to people from Safeway and also Food Lion. So far, they're going to open up their stores as normal unless something does happen. Any questions? I don't see any questions here. I want to thank all of you that have come into our program today to view it, come into the chat room and talk to us. We appreciate that as well. Okay? YouTube is shadow banning us. They're not allowing people on YouTube to view our program because, oh, nobody's watching it. That's because they're not letting people watch our program. We have 36 people watching our program right now. That's unheard of. We've had upwards of 2, 3, 4, 500 people watching our program at times. Unreal. Unreal. They're not allowing that now. Don says he's got to go. Hope you have a good day, Don. Be safe out there, and tell your family hi for us and everybody else over there in northern Utah. We love and appreciate you, Don. Thanks for being here. Okay? Don't have any more questions. Let's go over to the New Madrid Fault area. Okay? Today I'm not going to go through a briefing outlining every earthquake that happened along the New Madrid Fault, but I'm going to tell you this. Just like we're showing you here. Okay? Just like we're showing you right here. There are earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. This is Barker Cemetery. Barker Cemetery, guys. Guess what? There are earthquakes here. 3.0 and large earthquakes here in Barker Cemetery. All over central Missouri. All over northeastern Arkansas. Western Tennessee. Western Kentucky. Western Mississippi. We have 3.0 to 4.0 earthquakes hitting up and down the entire fault line. Earthquakes happening in Illinois are less than that. We have earthquakes happening in Illinois, but actually Illinois and Indiana, but they're not quite as large. They're minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes and even tremors in Indiana and Illinois. But I showed you last week where we had small 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes happening in Illinois. But here in the central part of the New Madrid Fault area, Arkansas and Missouri were having earthquakes, and they're still getting larger. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes are happening all up and down the entire New Madrid Fault. All up and down the entire New Madrid Fault. What does that mean? As I've told you before, the New Madrid Fault is moving. It's moving tremendously. Let's go over to Truman, Arkansas. Look at this. Yes, early this morning here in Truman, Arkansas, we had tremors going into minor earthquakes. Tremors going into minor earthquakes here. But guess what? They got larger. They became substantially larger here later this morning. Look at this blue line here after 9:30 this morning. The blue line on the far left is 9:30. Shortly after 9:30, all heck broke loose. Okay? We started with 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes. 3.5, 3.9. 3.5, 3.9 earthquakes here in Truman, Arkansas. Southeastern Arkansas on the New Madrid Fault. On the New Madrid Fault. It's happening up and down the fault, guys. It's happening all up and down the fault. The center of the New Madrid Fault is where it's going to be, where the major earthquake is going to start. The center of the New Madrid Fault is where the earthquake is going to begin. It's going to radiate to the north up to the Great Lakes, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio area, all the way down south to Louisiana and out into the Gulf of America. The shaking is going to be felt all around the United States, as far north probably as Washington, D.C., New York City, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, over into Texas, probably all the way up into Nebraska, South and North Dakota. The whole area is going to be devastated, guys. There's going to be an 8.0 plus earthquake. There's going to be an 8.0 plus earthquake on the Pneumatic Fault. We don't know when it's going to happen, but the seismic activity is increasing. As you can see here on this particular seismogram, the seismicity of the earthquakes has been increasing, meaning the size of the earthquake has increased here. 3.5, 3.9 earthquakes here. Look at that. This has never happened here on the Pneumatic Fault that I can even think of. I've been covering this for several years now. I've been looking at the seismicity, and 2 to 3 years ago, all we had were tremors. We had nothing like this. Today, the first time I saw this here, I analyzed it. I made some telephone calls. I checked on it. These are large, small earthquakes. 3.0, 3.9 are considered to be small quakes, borderlining a moderate earthquake. Borderlining a moderate earthquake. 4.0, 4.9 are called moderate earthquakes. Now we are at the borderline between small and moderate earthquakes. The shaking has increased. People felt this quake. People felt this quake all day long. Seismic activity on the Pneumatic Fault has increased. It's going to continue to increase here. Any questions about the Pneumatic Fault? My buddy Brookfish N from Oregon is here as well. We appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here. Any questions about the Pneumatic Fault, guys? Any questions here at all? I'm going to try and go here. If you guys just give me a quick second here. I'm going to try to see if I can bring up or find real quick Portageville, Missouri. Portageville, Missouri is a great impact point. Portageville, Missouri is an impact point here. Why? Because we've seen a lot of earthquakes in Portageville, Missouri. A lot. When we look at the earthquakes in that area, when we see earthquakes in that area, we look at it and say, oh my gosh, look out. This here in Barker Cemetery is a good example of these earthquakes. A very good example of what's happened here today. Let me show you this as well. Give me just a second. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Just give me a second here. I've got two more seismograms I want to show you here. Just a second here. All right. Let me show you something else, you guys. This is Kewanee, Missouri here. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Started early this morning. 5 a.m. this morning. Look at that. 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here early this morning. Kewanee, Missouri. No joke. No joke. Portageville, Missouri here. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes all morning long. Portageville, Missouri this afternoon. Approximately 2:50 this afternoon. Another 3.0 earthquake here. Again, the seismicity, the size of the earthquakes has increased, and the number of earthquakes has also increased here in Missouri. Incredible. I could show you earthquakes like this all afternoon long. All afternoon long. Why am I showing you this? Why do you think I'm showing you this? I've explained this before. There are people that live in this area. The last time this happened in 1810 and 1811, there was hardly anybody living in this area. People were homesteading this area. They're homesteading this area. Farms and ranches all over the area. Population is sparse. They had cabins mostly. Land spread all over Kingdom Come. All of a sudden, the earth started shaking. The Mississippi River stopped flowing forward and started flowing backward for 7 minutes. The Mississippi River stopping flowing the water started seeping and flowed directly into a canyon area over in Tennessee called Reelfoot Lake today. Reelfoot Lake. REELEFOOTE. Reelfoot Lake. Huge lake. I drove by Reelfoot Lake on my way here from Utah. I drove by Reelfoot Lake here on my way from Utah. There are cabins and also other homes surrounding the lake. Huge lake. But that lake was a result of the New Madrid fault. The Mississippi River flowing backward for 7 minutes. And also the Mississippi River altering its flow, altering where it used to be, altering its footprint. Guess what's going to happen? It may happen again. It may happen again very soon. Now, I surmise right now, with all the information that I've gathered, and most of it that I've shown you, I believe the Mississippi River is going to do that again very soon. I believe that given the information that we have of the earthquakes happening on the East Coast, the Atlantic Fault expansion in the center of the Atlantic Ocean out there, Atlantic Fault expansion putting pressure on the East Coast, and as a result of pressure on the East Continental Divide being pushed by the Atlantic Fault. And the North American Fault having that pressure out east is going to put more pressure on the Neumatic Fault. Not just that. What else is going on? We have seismic energy on the west coast of the United States as well. The Pacific Plate is subducting underneath the North American Plate just like this. The Pacific Plate is subducting, taking a deep nosedive underneath the North American Plate, putting a great deal of pressure on the North American Plate there. That energy is expanding to the east as well, putting additional pressure on the Neumatic Fault. It's my belief that we may fully see a pneumatic earthquake within the next 2 years, maybe sooner. Guys, you need to get right with our God. You need to get right with God very soon. If you live over here on the Neumatic Fault, you need to be prepared for what's going to happen. I've been talking about this for a very long time. The bridges over the Mississippi River are going to go down. The bridges over the Mississippi River are going to go down. What else is going to happen? What else do you think is going to happen? The roadways that were there in the 1800s, they were cow paths. They were not paved roads. They were cow paths, horse and buggy trails. Those same horse and buggy trails, those same cow paths are now 2-lane blacktop, 1 lane in each direction. Back in the day when this earthquake hit, great big fissures erupted. Great big huge fissures opened up in the earth on those cow paths, making it impossible for anybody to go up and down those roadways, those pathways. What's going to happen now? Those roadways that are there now are going to be split open. Fissures there is still going to open up those roadways. They're going to become impassable. I'm sure we had fires when the Neumatic Fault opened up this past time, back in the 1800s. Why? Because people had fireplaces in their cabins, open fires inside their cabins to cook with and keep warm with. It was December, January time period. They had to keep warm, they had to cook with. When that earthquake hit, cabins fell down. Cabins fell apart. Fires burned down their homes. Water from the Mississippi River washed some of those homes away. This time, the entire area from Louisiana all the way north to Illinois and Indiana and Ohio is highly populated. Highly populated. Millions of people live up and down the fault line. Millions of people are going to be displaced. The USGS are saying the average number of people that are going to be unalived is going to approach 1,900 people. 1,900 people at least will lose their life. I believe those numbers are greatly exaggerated. It will probably be a lot more than that. I think thousands of ponds, maybe tens of thousands of people are going to be unalived, and even more will be injured. Back in the day, they did not have pipelines underneath the ground. They did not have natural gas pipelines underneath the ground. They did not have water mains underneath the ground. What's going to happen there? Those gasoline pipelines, not just gasoline, but natural gas as well, are going to rupture. There's going to be fires, lots and lots of fires. Businesses, homes will burn down. But the only way the fire departments are going to be able to put out the fires is through water drops from aircraft, airplanes, or helicopters. Because the only water that's going to be available on the ground is going to be from the fire engines themselves. That's all that's going to be available. They won't be able to truck water in necessarily for quite some time, because all the roadways into those towns are going to be severed. The only way they're going to be getting food and supplies and drinkable water is through drops from helicopters, because runways are also going to be obstructed. Trucks that would carry lumber, trucks that would carry supplies to the earthquake victims will be hampered because they won't be able to get into that area. It's going to be a terrible situation. I guarantee you it's going to be a terrible situation. I'm asking all of you right now, make sure you make it right with our Lord. Make sure you make it right with the Lord. Okay? I guarantee you what's going to happen on the New Manifold very soon is not going to be pleasant. We think we have problems with our government right now. Just wait. Just wait till we have a great big huge earthquake to contend with. Major earthquake to contend with. And even then, this is in the New Manifold area. Again, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, going all the way down to Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. That whole area is going to be terrorized. Terrorized. Not necessarily from terrorist gangs. Terrorized from people that are scared out of their minds. Terror is going to grip this part of the country like never before. Yes, we do have a lot of humanitarians in this country and throughout the world. But after this earthquake hits, this area is going to be persona non grata. All the conveniences of life are going to be uprooted. And nobody's going to be able to even move. Nobody is going to be able to move for a very, very long time. Does anybody have any questions about what we've talked about with the New Manifold? I've only shown you a handful of seismograms today, but they're all the same way. Up and down the entire fault line, they are all the same way, except up in Illinois and Indiana. Indiana, we're not showing any because they have stopped the seismograms from coming out of Indiana. But Illinois was still seeing minor shaking going up there. Minor earthquakes and tremors in Illinois. Last week I showed you 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes in Illinois. Now the difference between last week and this week is probably the agency, because they're not letting us see what's really going on. They probably altered the documents. Any questions? Any questions? This is St. Louis too. Yes, absolutely, St. Louis as well. That whole area is going to be decimated, guys. That whole area up and down the entire fault line is going to be decimated, including St. Louis. Fact. Fact. But again, the earthquake is going to start in the center of the fault line, probably in northeastern Arkansas and central Missouri. That whole sector there. That whole sector. From like Jonesboro north to New Madrid, north to Kewanee, northward of Matthews, Missouri. That's where the earthquake is going to start. It's interesting to know. I know I did not show this on the seismogram today to you, but even over in central Arkansas, Ozark folks in Arkansas, north central Arkansas, we have 3.0 earthquakes there today. Unreal. That's been happening for about a year now. About a year, we've had earthquakes, and good sized earthquakes at that, in north central Arkansas. Been happening. Yes, Angel Sci-Fi, it's going to happen faster than you and I can react. Absolutely. Earthquake shaking is going to last maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll have aftershocks after that. Can you imagine an 8.0 earthquake like we've had over in the Kamchatka Peninsula, like we've had over in Turkish-Syria border region, like we've had down south of South Africa or South America in the Drake's Passage, Antarctic region where we had 9.0 earthquakes there, Japan. That kind of shaking on the Newman Fault. The people in this area are not going to be used to this at all. It's going to take them by surprise. It's going to destroy their lives as they know it. Life as we know it along the Newman Fault will be completely changed forever. Forever. Sad to say. Sad to say. I was there in Arkansas in Little Rock for the anniversary of the Newman Fault back in 2011. We did a disaster drill in 2011. We thought we had everything set. But when we started the disaster drill on Monday morning, we had 3.0 and large earthquakes. 3.0, 3.2, and 3.5 earthquakes over in as far north as Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and as far south as Jonesboro, Arkansas. Small earthquakes then. But after that point in time, we did not have any small earthquakes at all until 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when the seismic activity started getting larger. 2.0, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes. Then seismic energy hobbled along between tremors and minor earthquakes for 2 years until this year. This year, there's been a marked increase in the number of earthquakes and the large seismicity earthquakes. They've got larger. They got larger. And they will become more destructive. They will become more destructive as the time goes on. My whole focus today is emergency preparedness. Emergency preparedness here. I'm giving you the data. It's up to you to react on what you're going to do to protect yourselves. Yes, we have a possibility of having a lot of things go bad this weekend, because all the government has already been given out, and all of a sudden it's going to stop. Money's going to stop flowing unless the Democrat Party gets off their failed butts and decides to come back to the bargaining table and make sure that they put the United States back in full bloom. Make sure they can rework the deal to open up the government again. Again, President Trump is doing his darndest right now to make sure food stamps are going to go out as normal. He's been working on that all day long. All day long, since the Democrats won't do it. But the fact of the matter is this: it's up to all of us to help ourselves. We should not have to rely on the government to give us what we need. I saw one lady 2 days ago that said, actually it was this morning I saw this. She said, the government has provided me with food for my children and clothing for my children since I was a child. And I fully expect not to have to go to work. I fully expect the government to feed me and my family until they die. Yeah. This woman was in her 30 years of age time period. She said she expected the government not to have to make her go to work, and the government to give everything she needed to be able to survive. Unreal. Unreal. Sonic is here in the chat saying, Ron, it won't just affect the area in and around the fault. Let me repeat this. With the number of things that cross the fault, from underground cables to the aforementioned pipelines, this will be bad. I totally agree. I absolutely 100% agree. This will be bad in every sense of the situation. Pipelines, water, gas, and electricity, and every other kind of thing that we need to have to live. This is going to be the worst earthquake in history. This is going to be the worst earthquake in history, guys. And yet, we've also been talking about the Cascadia megathrust earthquake in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. That could be just as worse or worse. That could be just as bad or worse. Okay? I've been talking about what has happened in Jamaica with that huge, huge, huge hurricane. Those people have been hurting. They've been hurting for a couple days now. Their world has been destroyed. Their government and all other governments around the world are trying to help them. Cuba's been also destroyed. Southeastern Cuba especially. We don't know much about what's going on because they don't allow cameras there. Bahamas got hit. Now tonight going into tomorrow, Bermuda's also going to take a lashing from Hurricane Melissa. Category 3, Category 4 storm. Very, very bad. Watchman, it's good to see you here. Appreciate you being here. Ken Zoe says, they rent and barely get by. I agree. A lot of people rent and barely get by. I do this podcast on a nightly basis. You folks help keep me on the air here. You folks help keep me on the air. I pay $253 a month for broadband internet to keep this program on the air. Less than that, we get all kinds of buffering. Sometimes we get buffering from YouTube, which makes matters worse. It takes money to keep this program on the air. I don't like talking about it. I don't like seemingly begging for money. Rebecca's here on the air here. Rebecca Explorer was here in our chat and gave us a $4 super chat. We haven't got many super chats in a long time here. Super chats help keep this program on the air. People joining this program as members of this program help keep this program on the air as well. You guys donating to our PayPal also keeps our program on the air. We have 2 PayPal locations here, 2 of them. You can go to our PayPal locations and give us donations to our program, which we would greatly appreciate to keep this program on the air. We also have our address here, our mailing address. You guys can send us cards and letters. And inside that card or letter, you can stick a check or cash even. Send a check or cash to our mailing address, 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. You can also send us comments and questions and even suggestions of what you want us to cover on the air to our email address, rltnspdema@gmail.com. We'd appreciate that as well. Dennis Swanger gave out 5 Emergency Management Associate 1-month memberships here. If you received a membership, Danish Girl, Aveyah, David Lowe, Kentucky Blue-Eyed Girl, and go figure. Each got 1-month memberships from Dennis Swanger. Thank you, Dennis Swanger. You guys, please thank Dennis Swanger if you got a membership from him here on this program today. Thanks, Dennis. God bless you, brother. I really, really appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. Dennis, you rock. My buddy Sage Pup that's here in the chat, he's one of my mods here, a very, very close friend. He says, you rock, Dennis. And I agree. I agree. Thanks for that comment, Dennis. We appreciate it. I've been on the air now over 6.5 years. I started April 3rd, actually April 6th. No, it was April 3rd, 2019. April 3rd next year will be our 7th anniversary of being on the air. I hope we can stay on the air. Hope we can stay on the air. I appreciate each one of you being here. Also, one of the things you can do is also help promote this program. Tell your family about us, extended family as well. How about the people you work with, the people you associate with on social media, and also your friends and neighbors? Tell them about Emergency Management Associates and invite them to be here. I talk about our program and what we do here every day, not just in my neighborhood, but all over the city. I give out business cards. I invite my insurance agent to view this program. I invite everybody I talk to, the managers of Food Lion, the manager of Walmart, and even Kroger today, invited them to view our program. I told them that I was going to be talking about their stores because I want people to continue going to the stores. Because there was talk that the stores were going to close and only have online shopping with delivery at the door, pickup and delivery at the door. So far, that's not the case at all here in this area. Does anybody have any questions for me? I appreciate all of you being here today. There's a couple more things I want to talk about on the USGS map. Let's open up this map up right now, okay? I'm going to take our banner down, and I'm briefly going to take our webcam down for a minute as well. On this map, I programmed this map to appear over here at the Kamchatka Peninsula. Why? Because over a month ago, we had an 8.8, 9.0 earthquake here. Since then, we've been having aftershocks. The two earthquakes you see here are aftershocks of that 8.8, 9.4 earthquake that happened here over a month ago. But these are not the only two earthquakes that are here. There are also two other earthquakes that are here as well. This earthquake is a 5.0 earthquake here. 5.0 aftershock. This is a 4.6 aftershock here. As a result of that 8.8, 9.4 earthquake that happened here a month ago. Unreal. Over here in the Aleutian Islands, this is a 4.3 earthquake here. Moderate 4.3 earthquake out here south of the Aleutian Islands in the Aleutian Island fault zone. This deep under ocean ridge here. Aleutian Island ridge here. 4.3 earthquake right here. Let's go further north. I want to show you this. Today over here in Alaska, this is a large 5.4 earthquake here. A large 5.4 earthquake here, and it's not the only earthquake here. This is a primary shocker here. This is a primary quake. 5.4 large quake. These two aftershocks are not the only aftershocks that hit here. They're only the aftershocks that the USPS wants us to believe are here. This is a 2.6 minor earthquake. This is a 2.0. Again, these are not the only aftershocks here. But remember, this was a 5.4 large earthquake. But it was not the only earthquake that's here. And this 5.4 earthquake, guess what? Was actually a 5.6. A 5.6 earthquake. And USGS didn't want us to know about it. I went to the backside seismologist study page and pulled the information. It was a much larger earthquake. But what do you need to know about this earthquake? What do you think you need to know about this earthquake here? This is part of the Aleutian Island arc. This is part of the Aleutian arc here. Okay? Frequently, we've talked throughout the years when we've had earthquakes on the Aleutian Island fault zone. We talk about this arc here. Let me explain this, what it is and what's going on here. You all ought to know. You all ought to know what's happening here. Let's bring up my webcam because I want to be able to show you as well. Let's bring up the webcam here. Okay. The Aleutian Island arc extends approximately 3,000 kilometers from the Gulf of Alaska east to the Kamchatka Peninsula. It marks the region where the Pacific Plate subducts, under the North American Plate. Subducts. The Pacific Plate is taking a deep dive beneath the North American Plate. The subduction is responsible for the generation of the Aleutian Islands, deep offshore Aleutian Island Trench. The curvature of the arch results in a westward transition of relative plate motion from trench normal, compressional, guys. What's happening here? The Earth is being compressed here. With the transition here, where the Pacific Plate is taking a deep dive under the North American Plate, there's compression here going on, i.e. earthquakes, causing earthquakes. The Aleutian Island arc is generally divided into three regions: the western, the central, and the eastern Aleutians. Relative to a fixed North American plate, the Pacific Plate is moving northwest at a rate that increases from roughly 60 millimeters a year at the arc's eastern edge to 76 millimeters a year at the western terminus, the Kamchatka Peninsula area. The western terminus, the Obtuse Plate. The Obtuse Plate, where we had an 8.8, 9.4 major earthquake, a complete plate rupture at the southeastern side of the Kamchatka Peninsula. The eastern Aleutian Island arc extends from the Alaska Peninsula on the west side on the east side to the Fox Islands in the west. The eastern Aleutian arc extends from the Alaska Peninsula on the east to the Fox Islands in the west. Motion along this section of the fault, motion on this section of this Aleutian Island arc extends from the Alaska Peninsula in the east to the Fox Islands in the west. Motion along this section of the fault is characterized by arc perpendicular emergence, arc perpendicular convergence, and Pacific Plate subduction. Pacific Plate subduction, guys. You cannot have subduction without volcanoes. You cannot have volcanoes without subduction. We have over 60 volcanoes in Alaska. 60 volcanoes in Alaska. Pacific plate subduction beneath thick continental lithosphere. A thick continental lithosphere here. This region exhibits intense volcanic activity and has a history of megathrust earthquakes. Megathrust earthquakes, guys. That's what we've been talking about. That is what this earthquake was today. That's what this 5.4 earthquake was here in Alaska today. Okay? Wasn't a megathrust earthquake. However, it's part of the megathrust earthquake system. It's part of it. Because at some point in time, that megathrust earthquake that's going to happen over by Seattle, Tacoma area is going to extend up here into Alaska. It's going to extend up here into Alaska. Why? Because down here, off the coast of Seattle, Tacoma area, we're going to have a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake here. That energy is going to come up here through the Cascadia subduction zone and or the Juan de Fuca fault, that zigzag fault here. The energy is going to come up here to Haida Gwaii. This Haida Gwaii fault is a subduction fault as well. This fault is going to transmit energy up here into Alaska right here. The Aleutian Arc. The Aleutian Arc here. That's what's happening. That's what's happening here. Picoy is asking, are there any volcanoes near Fairbanks? Yes, north and west of Fairbanks, there are a lot of volcanoes. There are a lot of volcanoes, guys. Maybe someday I'll talk nothing about but volcanoes in Alaska. That will blow your mind. That will blow your mind. Volcanoes all over Alaska, guys. Literally. P. Coy says her granddaughter lives up here near Fairbanks, Alaska. Let's come up here. North Pole, Alaska, right there. North Pole, Alaska. Go figure. Go figure. Fairbanks, North Pole's north of there. Fairbanks right there, North Pole, Alaska up here. Looks like there's a great big quarry here as well. Carol was asking, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about North Pole, Alaska. I think she has friends there in North Pole, Alaska as well. No problem, Maria. Maria says, thanks, Ron, for keeping us informed. As I told you, I do a lot of research here. A ton of research every day. I know more information now than I did back when I got my degree. I know more about what's going on now than I did when I got my degree. I've kept up with it. I've increased my knowledge. I've taken seminars as well. Once you get your degree, if you want to continue with what you're talking about and talk to people about what's going on, you actually have to keep up with what's happening. I've done that. I keep up with whatever's going on. when I took on this project here back in 2019, I told myself and everybody else, I will do my darndest to make sure you have the information necessary to make decisions on what you need to do to protect yourselves. Because we talk about emergencies and disasters here every day. There hasn't been one day, not even one day in the past 6.5 years that we've been on the air, where we haven't had one disaster or emergency or another. We've always had something going on. Whether it's a very large earthquake, whether it's a very dangerous earthquake, a very dangerous hurricane, a tornado, a very bad winter storm, a fire, a shooting, flooding, heavy rain. Those things can cause major disasters. And we're here to talk about it. We're here to help everybody. That's what we do best. That is exactly what we do best. I started this program talking about what happened in Jamaica, and even over into the Cuban area. Again, let's just refresh everybody with what's happening. Down here in the Bahamas, the hurricane left Cuba and went up here in the Bahamas. Now it's left the Bahamas and out here in the Atlantic Ocean. Guess what? It's heading for Bermuda. It's heading for Bermuda, guys. Bermuda is not just one island. There's a bunch of islands here. Hurricane Melissa is probably going to make at least 5 landfalls here in Bermuda. 5 separate landfalls on islands here in Bermuda. Bermuda has been a fault zone literally for hurricanes. It's been a fault zone for hurricanes. Almost every hurricane that's come up here in the Atlantic Ocean has hit here in Bermuda, and this is just one more that's going to hit here. Okay? By tonight or tomorrow morning, Bermuda is going to get hit with Hurricane Melissa. And we will give you more information when that happens. We will give you more information when that happens. We have our eyes on the sky. We have reporters. We have news media that's covering this. We'll be giving you the information as soon as it becomes available. Okay? We confer with NOAA, for the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, which is the headquarters for the National Weather Service. They have daily briefings about these hurricanes when they hit, actually before they hit. So we'll have more briefings about that. Down here in the South Atlantic Ocean, right here, this is another aftershock. It's a 4.7 aftershock in the Drake Passage. We had a 7.8 earthquake happen here. We had 7.4 earthquakes here as well. This is a 4.7 moderate earthquake aftershock in the Drake Passage. Over here further east, this is in the South Sandwich Islands. This is a large 5.0 earthquake. 5.0 earthquake. This 5.0 earthquake is going to work its way east. It's going to work its way east until it comes up here in the South Atlantic. It's going to come up here on the South Mid-Atlantic Ridge here. This energy is going to travel up the South Atlantic here into the Central Mid-Atlantic. That's a 5.0 earthquake. We are going to see probably 4.0, 4.5, 4.7 energy here by the time it reaches the Central Mid-Atlantic going north. That should happen within the next few days. Okay? Down here, this is almost an embarrassment for me. to even talk about. Showing 2 earthquakes down here in central Chile. 2 earthquakes here. This is the 4.3. This is the 4.4. There are actually 14 earthquakes in this region. 14 earthquakes here in central Chile. USGS only shows 2 earthquakes in all of Central America. What a joke. What a frickin' joke that is. 14 earthquakes down here. Up here in northern Chile. Northern Chile and Argentina and Bolivia right here. In the Andes Mountains. We have another 14 earthquakes here. Every day. Every day. And yet USGS tried to tell us today, we don't have anything here. That's what they say all the time. All the time. We have 3.0 earthquakes all over this area here. 3.0, 3.4, 3.5, 3.7, 3.9 earthquakes here. Going here in Peru, also 4.0, 4.2 earthquakes here in Peru today. Today. Going up here in Ecuador and Colombia, USGS is not showing anything, nothing at all. What a joke this is. What a joke this is. Let me show you something, guys. Hold on a second. Hold on just a second. It's not over. It's not over until the fat lady sings. Guess what? A lot more earthquakes here. All of a sudden it froze. Just a second. Let me see if I can reboot this device here real quickly and show what's actually happened. Should only take a couple minutes and I'll reboot it. I'll show you the earthquakes happening here in Central America, Central and South America here, and even Southern Mexico. It's a very bad thing for the USGS to not show us anything going on, because there is. That energy down here in South and Central America and into Mexico is headed north as well, into North America. Into North America. This earthquake here, off of Guadalupe. This is an aftershock of a 5.4 earthquake that hit here earlier this week. This is a 4.5 aftershock from a 5.4 earthquake that hit here earlier this week. Okay? 4.5 earthquake here, and this is just east of Guadalupe on the Cayman Ridge. On the Cayman Ridge, guys. Incredible. Just incredible. Just a second, let me get this device here and show you the earthquakes hitting here. Oh, geez. I don't know why, but it's not showing up on my device here. Let me check something here. Hold on. I've got a tablet here, if I can bring it up here. It says there's no energy to it. The battery here on my tablet went dead as well. Let me plug in my tablet. So it's not going to show anything. It looks like my device is not going to work either. I want to guarantee you this. There's more earthquakes here in South America as well. Earthquakes up here in the Santander, Colombia here. Santander, Colombia right up in here. Okay, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes here in Santander, Colombia. Okay. Again, we have earthquakes here in Peru. We have a total of maybe 27 earthquakes. Actually, I think it's more than that. I think it's closer to 32 earthquakes, 37 earthquakes here in South America today. Okay. Here in Central America, 14 earthquakes in Central America here. Coming from Panama, most of the earthquakes here in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, one over here in El Salvador, just on the coast of San Salvador here, and Guatemala. 29 earthquakes here in South Mexico, Southern Mexico. Huge number of earthquakes here. USPS never shows us these earthquakes either. USGS never shows us these earthquakes. Rarely do they ever show us even one earthquake here in Southern Mexico. Sad state of affairs here. Sad state of affairs. Now I just noticed I had to remind myself what's happening here over here near Yellowstone. Yellowstone Lake here. The western side of Yellowstone Lake here. Right here. This is a 1.0 tremor here on the western side of Yellowstone Lake. 1.0 tremor here. Don't let anybody tell you. Do not let anybody tell you guys that Yellowstone is erupting or getting near eruption. It's not. Not now. That's probably not going to happen for a long time. Not for a long time. In order for Yellowstone to erupt, we have to have at least 4.5, 5.0 earthquakes happening on a consistent basis here in Yellowstone. And that's just not going to happen. It's not happening now. It's just not going to happen anytime in the very near future. Okay? However, Mammoth Glacier Field, not Glacier Field, Mammoth Geyser Field, I'm sorry. Mammoth Geyser Field. Here, okay? Just like in the North Geyser Basin, we have Old Faithful. This is the Mammoth Geyser Basin up here. This is the 1.4 tremor here up in Mammoth. This is a 1.3. This is a 1.4. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. That's a 2.1 earthquake. This is a 0.6 microquake. Just north of there, this is a 0.9 microquake. These are microquakes and a seismic eruption here. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now, let's go over here to Hebgen Lake. Hebgen Lake here. This is a 0.8 microquake at Hebgen Lake. Now here at Hebgen Lake, we've had a lot of microquakes and we've had some tremors here before. Back in 1959, Hebgen Lake had an earthquake here. They said it was a 7.1 earthquake here. Now the scientists are saying it probably was closer to an 8.0 major quake. So they went from calling it a 7.1 major quake to an 8.0. Now, almost 60 people died here at Hebgen Lake from that earthquake. Almost 60 people died here. Most of the people who lived here were in campers. They did not have RVs here. They were in campers. Some of them even were camping. Some of them even were camping here. There is a monument to those people who lost their lives here at Hebgen Lake. Yes, we've continued to have aftershocks. We have continued to have more earthquakes here. So far, we haven't had any large or moderate earthquakes here in the Hebgen Lake area in a very, very long time. Hopefully this won't happen anytime soon either. But every time we have more earthquakes or what we call tremors or minor quakes, whenever we have a slew of quakes, a cache or a swarm of quakes, that usually means there's going to be a much larger earthquake here. But again, I've told you, I will keep you informed when we're going to have an earthquake here in the Yellowstone area. As you can see, it is not going to happen anytime soon. It can't. It can't. Because there are just not enough earthquakes here to have happen. You can't have a major eruption of a volcano here in the Yellowstone area without large earthquake energy, meaning magma pounding the upper magma chambers of the volcano down here. There's actually three different structures here. 3 different volcanic structures here. This one up here at the Mammoth Geyser Basin. This one down here in the Yellowstone area. Then one over here in eastern Idaho. Eastern Idaho, Island Park. Island Park. There just happens to be a caldera here in Island Park, Idaho. Island Park, Idaho. We could actually have 3 different eruptions over here. We could actually have 3 different eruptions. One here at Island Park, one up here in the geysers facility. I keep saying facility, the geysers basin here, or down here in the Norris Geyser Basin area here in Yellowstone. Okay? It's just not happening. It's just not happening, guys. Picoy is asking, did Haiti get hit by the big hurricane? No, it did not. They got hit by some outer bands of winds, outer bands of the hurricane. That's all they might have felt is the outer bands of the hurricane. That's it. Maybe winds as high as 40, 45 miles per hour. That's probably all. That's it. That's it. No, Haiti's not in danger at all. There's nothing else going on in the Caribbean right now for Haiti to be in danger. Yes, we could have a major earthquake in Haiti. That's happened before. But right now, that's not going to happen. Right now, that's not going to happen. Let's talk about this earthquake over here in central Idaho. Some people want to say this is in southern Idaho. It's not. This is central Idaho, Stanley, Idaho. This earthquake here is a 3.2 small quake. 3.2 small quake. It's not anywhere near the Yellowstone magma chamber. It's nowhere near Yellowstone magma chamber. The Yellowstone magma chamber comes over here to Challis, Idaho. Challis, Idaho. This is the western edge of the Yellowstone magma chamber. The Yellowstone magma chamber, however, goes all the way up to the Canadian border and all the way down here to northern Utah. Northern Utah. Right down here. The Yellowstone magma chamber. The Yellowstone magma chamber is 11 Grand Canyons in size. Huge, huge magma chamber here. Hurricane Heather says Haiti got hit, 58 souls lost. They only had 45-mile-per-hour winds in Haiti. That's what I was told. That 45-mile-per-hour winds in Haiti. Yes, Haiti is an underprivileged country. Haiti is an underprivileged country over here. Over here on the western side of the Dominican Republic. This is Haiti right here. This is Haiti right here. Over here, this is Jamaica. This was by far a very small but powerful hurricane. The hurricane hit right over here on the southwestern side of Jamaica. The outer band winds reach over to Haiti over here. 45-mile-per-hour winds. 58 souls lost. Total lost souls from Hurricane Melissa, 58. I did not realize that the death toll came from Haiti. But again, it's the outer band winds of the hurricane. The outer band winds of the hurricane spinning. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water here. Do we have any questions? Any questions here? Any more questions? Guys, I want to thank you all for being here with us today. I want to thank all of our mods as well. Guys, if you haven't already known our mods, please get to know our mods. They're wonderful people. Hurricane Heather, Renee Steffi, Sage Pup, Demon Catman are here today. My friend Don Patoka is also here. Guys, these people are the head of our mod team. They're the head of our moderators here. We love and appreciate each one of them. They're the head of our moderated team here. Okay? Heather's saying total lives lost from Melissa was 58, but no, not all of them from Haiti. I thought Haiti was where all the people were killed. Fortunately, that's probably true. Fortunately for them. Guys, thank our mods here for helping keeping peace and helping keep our program on the air. They do a great job here. I want to thank you all for being here as well. Without you, we wouldn't have a channel here. Our channel here is basically for education. Educating people what's going on here around our globe, around our world. Okay? Again, we talk about tornadoes. We talk about winter weather conditions such as blizzards. We talk about heavy rain. We talk about flooding. We talk about fires. Talk about fires. Fascinating thing here. Fires. Wildland fires and house fires. Unreal. We talk about shootings. We talk about explosions. We talk about hurricanes. We talk about everything that could possibly happen and does. Because you guys deserve to know what's going on. You guys deserve to know what's going on, how you can prepare for what's going to happen to you. You never know when it's going to happen. But I can tell you this, throughout my lifetime, and those of you that I know here personally, including all of our mods, each and every one of us have been hit with emergencies in our lives. And as a result, we want to talk about it. We want to bring these out. We want to discuss them so we can better be prepared to face those in our lives and get through the emergency and come out the other side. So we want to prepare for what's happening before, what's going to happen during the event, and what we need to do after the event has happened to get through it and survive. We want to bring our families through it. We all want to survive it. I talk about neighbors, I talk about friends here. There's a reason. We want to help each other. God has instructed us to help each other. And that's what we want to do here. Now, before I leave tonight, I want to go over here into Matthew in the New Testament. Okay? Let's go over here to Matthew 23, chapter 23. Go to verse 15. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say, whatsoever swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater the gold or the temple that sanctifieth the gold? And whomsoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing. But whosoever sweareth by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater the gift or the altar that sanctifieth the gift? What's Christ talking about? What is Christ talking about? It boils down to maybe one verse. That's verse 24, chapter 23. Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, for ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here, guys? We're talking about making sure our own house is clean. Making sure we are clean in our own house before we try to clean anyone else's. Let's take care of our own house. Let's take care of our own soul. Let's take care of our own soul here. Why? Because we can't help anybody else until we help ourselves. We can't take care of anyone else until we help ourselves. Then over here in the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And see that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. And all these are the beginning of the sorrows. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins. 10 virgins who took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 of them were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, No, not so, lest there not be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came. And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door is shut. The door is shut. What happened? The people that were there that did not have preparations necessary to meet the bridegroom had to leave. The door was shut. What's going to happen to us? Are we going to, when the bridegroom is on the other side of the door, are we going to be ready for the bridegroom to welcome us into the wedding, to the marriage? Or are we not going to be prepared and have to leave because we're not ready? Are we going to have to leave because we're not ready? Let's take that one step further. We pass away. We leave our earthly existence. We go to the gates to meet the Savior. Are we going to be able to tell the Savior that we are ready to enter into his kingdom? Are we going to be greeted by the Savior and said, Well done, thou good and faithful servant, enter into my kingdom? I hope we will. I hope we will. That's the whole point of our program, to be prepared. Deborah Lyra, thank you for coming into the program today. We appreciate you here. Thank you. Now, please, guys, please subscribe to our program. Those of you that are still subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. How will you know that? If you're not getting notified that when we come on the air, you may not be still subscribed. YouTube unsubscribes people on a daily basis. Check and make sure you're still subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the program. Then there's a little bell icon right next to the subscription button. Click on that little bell icon. There will be a drop-down menu of 3 items come up. Click on the word ALL, all. That should get you notified when we come on the air. Join us here Monday through Friday between 4 and 5 o'clock Eastern Time for another episode of the Emergency Management Associates. If anything else happens today, tonight, or tomorrow morning, we will be back on the air for that meeting as soon as the information becomes available. We bring the information to you as soon as we possibly can. We do it in the middle of the night, we do it in the middle of the day, end of the night as well. We do it all the time. I love each and every one of you, brothers and sisters. That's why we're here together today. That is exactly why we're together here, to get information to help each one of us so that we can be better prepared. Tomorrow is Emergency Preparedness Friday. Emergency Preparedness Friday. Join us tomorrow evening between 4 and 5 o'clock for another episode of our program, and be prepared for information. Be prepared to have preparedness information given to you. I do that every Friday. May God bless you. May God bless you with nourishment, strength. May God bless you with the ability to discern evil from good. May God bless you with whatever you need to have in your quiver, so you will be prepared. Have a good night, everybody. I love you ever so much. Take care. We'll see you the next time. God be with you until we meet again. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright.